Root access. Pilot episode. Blue screens of death. First act. A malicious update.
Julia Sinclair arrived earlier at the airport. Outside, the number of parked cars seemed excessive, but plausible for a Friday morning. Even with first-class tickets, she preferred to be safe and get there with 4 hours to spare. After dropping her luggage, Julia decided to check the VIP lounge.
Everything fine over there?
She sent an audio message to the central computer at the Sinclair Institute.
Yes, all systems are operational, all schedules on time.
The AI response was good enough for her, but she was able to hear a device crashing to the floor in the background.
Have a safe flight, boss.
Julia's meeting was critical enough to leave 3 days of management duties.
I just need them to keep the place in one piece until I come back,
she thought, after clearing security at the gate. Out of nowhere, a strange announcement appeared on the airport screens, while an improvised audio message explained to the public.
All the flights are being delayed until further notice. Please stay calm, check with your airline for new departure times. I repeat, all flights are suspended. You don't need to leave the premises.
The distant murmur of thousands of passengers turned into a shrill noise.
Scene 2.
In less than 10 minutes, the airport had turned into total chaos. Several lines of frustrated passengers were walking up and down the corridors. The screens flickered, with cancellation after cancellation notice, across all major airlines. Even private flights were affected. Julia sensed something odd about the announcer's voice, and decided to investigate.
I'm sorry, that section is for airport controllers only, I can't let you in.
A guard stopped her as she tried to reach the control room.
My name is Julia Sinclair, from the Sinclair Institute. Can you at least explain what is happening?
She displayed her government badge, making the security guard step back after scanning it. He then answered, with a formal tone.
You have no jurisdiction here, Miss Sinclair. This could be a matter of national security.
But she insisted.
If it is a cyber attack, I will definitely prevail over any other agency.
The guard hesitated, but decided to let her into the control room, following close behind her. An operator greeted Julia. With a very scared voice, he explained.
This is not just a simple malfunction. It is a large-scale assault. Something has infected all our systems across the country. Sadly, I am not allowed to give you any more details.
The operator switched to a newscast on a nearby monitor. The reports sounded like science fiction.
Tonight, an unprecedented computer virus has paralyzed air traffic in multiple locations. Airports in all major cities are in a state of emergency, unable to operate their systems due to this massive cyber attack. There are fears that if it's not resolved soon, the consequences could be catastrophic.
It was a live feed from outside the largest airport in the country, where hundreds of vehicles were gridlocked in the entrance, alongside with news channels, trucks, and workers trying to get in. Julia only knew one person able to decipher and solve this fast enough. She turned on an encrypted signal on her smartwatch and called a direct line to the office.
Scene 3.
At the Sinclair Institute, Maxwell Husk was fixing a broken computer, flipping his phone in the air with his other hand. Months filled with uneventful days, boring, unchallenging tasks, and ridiculously long deadlines had passed.
Damn, this is deadly boring. Maybe I should have taken the sentence instead of the plead.
He was lost in his thoughts, regretting the choices he had made years ago that changed the course of his life. Suddenly, a cube-shaped speaker rang close to him. He dropped the screwdriver and almost missed catching the phone, capturing it at the last second.
Yes, who is it?
He answered, surprised by the unusual direct call.
A what? On the whole airport.
Maxwell tried to understand Julia's words, but they were too surreal to be true.
Please, if you want me to believe such a crazy situation, at least make it sound more grounded.
He hung up and continued working on the broken laptop, but Julia called again, instantly. Maxwell let it ring for a long 30 seconds. Julia was desperate on the other side of the line.
Maxwell, please, this is serious.
She shouted when he picked up.
Okay, I will check the news. But if you are trying to make me look like a fool, I won't pick up your calls for an entire month.
He turned on the channel, requested by Julia, and couldn't believe his eyes.
Is this a deep fake?
He asked, still confused.
No, this one is real. We need to understand what is going on. This is not a simulation.
In recent years, it has become common for news channels to be hijacked and replaced with fake videos, ranging from market manipulation schemes to social crises. The world got used to triple-check stories that seemed too far from reality, before overreacting.
A global air traffic shutdown? That is just crazy.
He apologized for doubting her, while reading other countries' feeds in multiple languages, reporting the same issues. Maxwell immediately dropped the broken computer and, in a sudden burst of energy, purged his desk of the trash accumulated over the last few weeks, leaving just the purple cube on the desk.
Second act. An airborne virus.
In the aftermath of global cyberattacks that nearly crippled the world's infrastructure, the government established specialized labs to counteract such threats. The Sinclair Institute was one of these facilities. Hidden in plain sight, it was designed to address the most complex and dangerous digital emergencies. With Maxwell Husk as technical master, the Sinclair Institute had become the last line of defense against digital chaos. To assist in their investigations, a state-of-the-art AI system had been secretly developed inside the Institute. The Advanced Recognition Intelligent Agent, or ARIA for short, had an alleged building cost surpassing the $1 billion. It ran on its own modular nuclear reactor to prevent external energy disruptions. ARIA was able to retrain herself, with fresh data from the internet, within hours. The AI greeted Maxwell when he entered the room.
Hello, Maxwell. How can I help you today?
Aria, I need to analyze something. Could this be a case of algorithmic amnesia?
ARIA answered, after 2 minutes.
No, the virus suggests multiple sector errors. The probability of an algorithmic amnesia are less than 0.3%.
Oh, Aria. If only things were that simple. Look at the degradation patterns on the map. They are almost artistic.
Maxwell was looking at a live satellite map on the screen, with several red dots representing infected airports. The institute was almost empty. Because of the low amount of work, most personnel were doing home office or furlough. Unexpectedly, the successful whir of a fingerprint scan sounded, and the office door opened behind him.
Husk, we've got 3 new cases of.
Jasmine Galvez was holding her tablet, with a list of clients, calling for urgent help. She was a brilliant programmer that joined Maxwell's team just a few months ago.
Let me guess. BlueScreens, random data loss. And they all updated their systems last night.
Yes. But how did you know?
Wild guess.
He replied sarcastically.
By the way, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be on holiday?
He recalled Jasmine asking for a week off.
Yes, but Julia called me. She said it was urgent.
Well, I never saw something like this in my entire life.
Maxwell pointed to a map that was filled with more red dots. Arya added,
Maxwell, I detected a global anomaly. It is not affecting just this continent anymore.
Maxwell smiled excited, and turning back to Jasmine he answered,
Arya, the game is on.
Scene 5.
Maxwell and Jasmine moved to the back office, where they had the most powerful computers of the entire building. Julia called again from the airport. This time the background chaos of passengers, crew and operators made it really hard for them to understand her.
Maxwell, this is getting serious, real fast. We need a solution as soon as possible.
Sure. Let me pull out my magic wand of instant virus removal. Oh, that's right, I left it in my other coat.
Jasmine interrupted him.
This isn't a game, Maxwell. 2 planes have crashed already, almost killing 100 passengers.
Everything can be played as a game. And this is the most interesting I've seen in years.
He grabbed his electronic pen and started drawing lines on the big screen over the map.
Arya, rewind and show me the infection patterns in chronological order, now.
The AI flashed with a purple light, an indicator of data processing, in real time. The map disappeared, and started rendering again from scratch, with the red dots appearing in the order of the infection.
The spread started in these locations. The unusually fast speed suggests a sophisticated attack vector.
It's not the speed that's interesting, it's the pattern. Look how it avoids certain zones. Why?
Jasmine observed the empty patches of land and answered.
All the affected systems received an update last night. But not everyone who received an update was affected. What makes them different?
Maxwell kept drawing patterns on the screen when suddenly he realized.
It's not what they have in common. It's what they're missing.
What do you mean, Maxwell?
Julia intervened. She was following the whole conversation from the airport, even with hundreds of people screaming around her.
A digital trace. All the unaffected systems lack a specific footprint over the last 72 hours. Right?
Jasmine answered, surprising Maxwell.
Arya, can you check that hypothesis?
Maxwell asked Arya again, and started thinking even harder.
Rewind your data and start from there.
Analyzing.
The nuclear reactor at the building's underground levels were generally quiet, but with this amount of energy consumption, the engines could be heard from Maxwell's office on the first floor.
Confirmed. All the unaffected systems did not access any social media over the past 72 hours.
Maxwell smiled, holding Jasmine's shoulders to congratulate her.
Whoever is behind this is not targeting computers. They are after the users. The people behind these devices. So everyone who stayed off the social radar was safe.
Scene 6.
Maxwell and Jasmine were searching for the root cause of the very first infected computer.
Arya, what do you see now?
We need to find the people behind this attack before it's too late.
Jasmine pondered, as more red dots appeared on the map.
I see all the data points. Hundreds of computers getting infected, in a complex, unrecognizable pattern.
Arya, we need to see behind the data. What are those millions of numbers hiding?
Jasmine took Maxwell's electronic pen, drawing her own patterns on the screen, connecting different starting points, but nothing clicked.
Wait, stop right there.
Maxwell shouted, while looking at Jasmine's latest trace.
What? I'm trying random vectors. None of this makes any sense.
Maxwell made Arya flip the image. When mirrored, the connected dots formed 2 letters.
Well, I don't believe in zodiac signs, but this constellation is pretty clear to me.
The giant letters D and R appeared, as Helvetica capitalized, in the center of the map.
But what does it mean?
The digital riders.
He answered with a somber tone.
A melodramatic name for a group that's supposed to be an urban myth. But myths have roots in reality sometimes. Can you verify it, Arya?
The small cube that captured Maxwell's request started glowing again with a deep purple hue.
Maxwell, I found references to that group on an encrypted dark web forum. Their latest recorded activity was almost 3 years ago.
Maxwell smiled. He couldn't remember the last time he ever read about them.
3 years is a long time. Long enough for the world to forget about them, but also long enough to plan something this big.
Suddenly, an alarm started to sound at the institute. It was only used for critical cases, emergencies, or nuclear failures.
Arya, what is happening? Is this a meltdown?
Jasmine asked, terrified.
No, Jasmine. Air traffic control systems around the world are failing.
And so, the real game begins.
Third Act. Anonymous Heroes.
Arya, I need you to do something against your policies.
Maxwell, you know I can't do that without authorization.
I need you to think like a criminal mastermind. If you wanted to cause the most damage, what would be your next move?
But Arya didn't answer. The security protocols set by its creator, Comrade Sinclair, Julia's father, were really hard to override.
Julia, can you hear me?
Jasmine informed her about the plan. She didn't like the idea at all.
Maxwell, we can't ask Arya to do that. You know how risky it could be.
Yes, but it might be our only chance to be ahead of them. So far they are winning.
My father's protocols are strictly enforced, you know that.
I truly believe that he would let this exception go through.
Maxwell said respectfully.
After all, he created Arya for the greater good of humanity, and this virus can disrupt the entire world.
Julia paused for a few seconds, thinking.
You are right, Max. I will send one of the authorization codes to temporarily disable the restrictions.
Thanks, I promise we will make it worthwhile,
he replied, while all of Arya's lights turned on again.
We will keep you posted,
Jasmine promised before closing the communication. 5 minutes later, Arya produced a critical response.
The financial systems. With the panic from the air traffic failures, attacking the banking industry would cause global chaos.
That's brilliant. Now, how can we stop them?
Scene 8.
Jasmine and Maxwell were typing frantically on their computers when Julia called once again.
Maxwell, we can use all the resources needed. There are no restrictions. But we need to end this as soon as possible.
Pressure won't speed up our process, it will only distort it.
but she is right. Time is running out, Maxwell.
Jasmine pointed to the live world map, showing more dots appearing in every country.
Time is just a construct. What is missing is our window of opportunity. Arya, show me the isolated code for the malicious update. Can you compare it to the first one, found 2 days ago?
Large portions of source code displayed on the screen. Jasmine examined the lines, fascinated.
This is incredible. The code is evolving like a biological virus. It adapts and mutates in a sort of natural selection.
How can we use that in our favor?
Julia asked from the line. Maxwell smiled again, looking at the first lines of code displayed by Arya.
Well, everything that evolves has an origin. And if we can find the origin,
We can replicate its evolution, anticipating the next possible form before it happens.
yes. We need to set up a simulation right now.
Arya created a model of the virus and started running the possible scenarios with mutations of the code. Jasmine and Maxwell followed the paths to see how it adapted to different defense strategies and antivirus.
Well, now we can create a fix for its future form, instead of targeting the current version.
Jasmine felt relieved, despite the significant effort required to complete the predictive patch. Both started coding together, like never before.
Arya, can we transmit the patches to the computers from here?
I'm sorry, Maxwell. We can't interfere with airports, stock exchanges, or bank networks. Those are not physically connected to us.
Damn! We will have to wire up an adaptive distribution network.
Maxwell looked at Jasmine, realizing that they didn't have those skills. However, she knew who would be able to pull it off, but didn't want to see his face again so soon.
Well, what are you waiting for? Call him, now!
Jasmine hesitated, but after a few seconds she complied, with a mix of frustration and resignation.
Scene 9.
Jabari Marshall was hitting his punching bag in his backyard. After the breakup with Jasmine and resignation from the institute, he had a lot of free time. Training in boxing helped to keep his mind busy. The institute number flashed on his screen, but he dismissed the first ring. It was only after the third call that he finally gave in and answered.
Hi Jabari, we might need your help.
Jasmine's unmistakable voice was warped by a fear and worry he'd never heard before.
What happened? Are you okay?
He answered.
Yes, but the world is in danger. We need your skills, as soon as possible.
Jabari stood still for a moment, silent, until Maxwell's voice broke through his thoughts.
We need a worldwide distribution system for a patch, and we need it now.
A what? Have you lost your mind?
No, I'm dead serious. This thing is threatening the whole transport and financial systems. It is evolving in real time. Haven't you seen the news at all?
Too shy to admit his isolation, Jabari hadn't just ignored his messages and emails for weeks. He hadn't checked the news in days.
I see. Well, I guess we could try.
We must make it happen, Jabari.
Julia's voice appeared out of the blue on the call.
At least, can I have my position back at the Institute?
Yes, whatever you want. But please, help us.
Okay, I take your promise. Let's do this.
Jabari opened his work laptop. He hadn't yet returned to the Institute. Maxwell granted him remote access to the central computers, and explained briefly about the mutating virus.
We can't rely on the standard networks. They're all compromised by now. I'm going to set up this through a parallel infrastructure, mimicking the virus pathway.
The patch is almost ready. Can you proofread it?
Jasmine asked Maxwell for a quick check, even though she knew her code was probably flawless.
It looks pretty fine. I hope it works.
Can you still hear me?
Julia's voice resounded again from the speakers. She was in a much quieter place now.
Yes. Do you have any news?
We've got intel that the virus could have a secondary payload. Some countries tried to stop it directly, but it triggered a cascade failure in critical infrastructure. It is affecting the power grid when the primary attack was thwarted.
Of course. A contingency self-harming plan. We have to neutralize it too.
Maxwell sat at his computer to modify Jasmine's code.
Aria, can you update the simulation? We need to know exactly the next 3 moves of the virus.
Yes, Maxwell.
Aria displayed several lines of code, possible evolutions of the main virus. Also, the secondary payload was clearly visible now.
Fascinating. It only appeared after its 17th iteration. This is really advanced programming and forward thinking.
Maxwell admired a well-crafted piece of code, even if it was created for the most nefarious ends.
The distribution system is ready to go.
Jabari configured the entire network in record time, with an unprecedented scale.
Jasmine, do the honors, please.
Maxwell asked, after setting up the software patch on the network's starting point. She pressed enter.
Scene 10.
All the screens in the office were turned on, monitoring as many countries and systems as possible. At the airport control room, Julia was following the same maps via satellite connection with Aria. She shared the news with state officials through a secure line. One by one, the red dots on the map started turning blue, indicating a patch in progress, and then purple, signalizing the successful update.
The secondary systems were also neutralized. No infrastructure is getting infected. Good job.
That was amazing.
Maxwell declared, vigorously shaking Jasmine by the shoulders in a display of excitement that was utterly unexpected.
We've averted a cascade failure. Congrats.
Julia was rejoicing, feeling so proud of her team and the Institute as a whole.
This wouldn't have been possible without you, Jabari. We made a huge mistake letting you go.
If he comes back, I want him on my team.
Maxwell demanded, even knowing that Jasmine and Jabari would be really uncomfortable working together.
That would be an honor, Maxwell. I won't disappoint you,
he confirmed, with a smile on his face. Arya interrupted them, suddenly.
All the systems are patched. All the updates were completed. The game is over.
But he wasn't that enthusiastic.
The game isn't over at all, Arya. This was just their first move. But today, we won.
Yes, today we defeated the Digital Riders, stopping their attack.
Jasmine exclaimed with much more enthusiasm. But Maxwell smiled, with sarcasm.
No, Jasmine. They have been challenged. It will make them return, stronger and more determined.
What do you suggest we do?
The only thing we can do. Prepare for our next case. Because in this digital chess game they've just moved their first piece, but we have only entered the board. Arya. Shut down all the screens, it's been enough for one day.
Yes, Maxwell.
The office started to turn off slowly. Room by room every device screen went black. Jasmine and Maxwell left the institute for a much-deserved rest. At the airport, flights slowly started to depart again, after a whole day of delays. Julia Sinclair was finally able to board, heading to her most important meeting of the last 5 years. Though the world would never know, Maxwell and his team had just prevented the largest cyber attack in recent history, averting a global crisis. And now, this success would hopefully justify the Sinclair Institute's existence and end the ceaseless questioning.
To be continued.